Welcome to episode number 77 of the Roundtable. I'm Grant Brisbee here with Andy McCullough and Marc Carig. Mark, how you doing today?
This is square table.
I know it's rectangular.
This isn't a square at all. You idiot.
Rectangle.
Pisses me
tired.
off. All right, Andy, how you doing?
Good. We got a new sponsor.
What you got?
Buc-ee's, the gas station to go to when you want more than gas.
All right, fair enough.
Try Buc-ee's.
And then what else do you got there?
Oh, we still got the moon pies. Yeah.
Moon pies. Just a little behind the scenes how the sausage is made. Andy spent last night at the bar with a moon pie in each pocket, and he would come up and offer them to anyone who would listen. A warm pocket moon pie while you're drinking. I passed it up. I don't know how I did it. I think everyone passed it up, right?
Well, first of all, you make it seem like I was just doing that last night. I did. I became a little irritable about the sort of Ohtani, Dave Roberts discourse and people sort of complaining about Dave Roberts just saying a basic fact that was going to be reported. And so I came up with a strategy that if anyone asked me about that, I would just say, hey, do you want a moon pie? And hand it to them and walk away. And so I gave away like 5. It was great.
There's that. I mean, there's a moon pie, and then there's a moon pie that's warmed by the flesh of Andy McCullough.
It's better.
Yeah.
When you heat it up.
You
gave away 5?
I gave away a lot of moon pies last
Dude, you're probably the most active team at these winter meetings.
All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about that Dave Roberts quote. Will he be fired?
No. No.
I was surprised by it. Look,
a lot of people were surprised, and I think that it became pretty clear that that was not the intended outcome of his scheduled address with reporters. It's not like he came up there being like, I'm gonna, take a shot across the bow. He just, answered a question honestly that he figured was going to be put out. It's not a secret that the Dodgers want Shohei Ohtani. It's not earth-shattering in any way, and the fact that it was treated that way lets you know how much sort of control that Ohtani and his agents at CAA, led by Nesbitt, are trying to conduct over this process, and it's made it frankly ridiculous. And as I think a lot of people have written in the past couple of days, and then subsequently gotten screamed at, really tedious. Like, it should be. I personally think, and look, I'm biased because I'm a journalist, and so I'm in the interest of transparency and providing information to the readers. I think all the teams who met with him, first of all, they are able to do this because it doesn't violate the CBA. They could come out and say, yeah, we met with Shohei Ohtani. We would love Shohei Ohtani on our team. He's awesome. We're not taking any further questions. We're not going to tell you what we're offering. We're not going to tell you how we intend to use him. We're not going to tell you what he wants. We're not going to tell you what our pitch was. We're not going to tell you anything. But yes, did we meet with him? Do we want him on our team? Yes.
I like the idea that it's a test. It's like, can you not think about the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? It's just, can you just not mention Shohei Ohtani? And then, that's a check. They've got a good, disciplined front office.
What?
Just to prove that you got a good, disciplined
front office. The Dodgers win
100
100 games every year.
Yeah, but they're sloppy.
I'm sorry. This is
clearly sloppy now.
It's ridiculous.
It's sloppy organization.
It's preposterous. It's pretty honestly, and it's so
there's a term in the sport, right? This is a tired act. This is tired. This whole thing is tired, and it's like, what a wasted opportunity for the sport.
Yeah.
All right, and now the counter to that is, well, this is an individual. It's his own process, whatever. How many other, free agents do you see being this open about stuff? And that's interesting. Yet we've never had a free agent like this. This is a very different scenario, and maybe this is one where you do treat it differently, and maybe being open about it is good for everyone involved. But anyway.
Well, here's the thing: Ohtani is about to sign a contract that will almost certainly shatter the record for the largest in North American sports. Probably $500 million or more. He's not getting that money because he's really awesome at baseball and, doing that because he's able to do things that no one's ever done before in his field. He's doing it because he does that in a field that generates billions of dollars every year, $11 billion, 12, 13, whatever it is. And part of that is the winter meetings, the off season, the hot stove, selling tickets, selling merch, generating excitement. It's an entertainment business. Fair enough. This is purposely not entertaining. And I understand, privacy, all that, but it's it's not a big deal to know that these are the 5 teams in on him. He's going to get paid $500 million you can tolerate people knowing that these are the 5 teams who want to sign him. That is not a grievous violation of privacy.
But we do know. So, you know what I mean? Like we know.
We do. Yeah, we do know because of reporters who are being yelled at for reporting, on the internet, for doing our jobs and providing things. By the way, everyone seems to know that he wants privacy, even though he hasn't spoken in 4 months. He's never vocalized that.
That's a good
The
point.
reason that's in the ether and the readers know that is because of reporting, which is what we do.
Well, don't
What's-
speak for yourself.
Sorry, which is what Mark and I used to do,
Right.
which is what I do, basically.
It's funny 'cause he's like, he don't do any reporting at all. He picked up the phone last week. Dang it!
Why? Was the credit card company calling?
Oh, wow.
I called a German tennis star,
Bjorn Borg?
Bettina Bungie.
Bungie.
Yeah. No, I picked up the phone. We
Was-
went delightful conversation.
Sure.
Reporting,
Between
reporting, baby.
Yeah, that's funny.
Listen, for me, the
I was gonna
biggest
say, isn't that Nick Cave's guitarist?
Bettina. that would be a good one. The biggest problem with the winter meetings for me is that Ohtani's, stepping on the hose of all the other transactions.
Yeah.
He's kinking the hose, but that's not his fault. That's other teams.
That's his right. That aspect,
He has nothing to do with
he
that.
can decide on whenever he wants to, and you can be annoyed about that. Like, it's more that just. Sorry, I'm cutting you off. I
You sure are. No, I didn't.
He's gonna offer him a moon pie.
Would you like a moon pie?
I kind of would. No, listen, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest part of the winter meetings is that everyone's waiting for it. When's the last time you heard a Blake Snell rumor?
Right.
Like he won the Cy Young,
Yeah.
and he's a free agent.
Mhm.
When's the last time you heard of? Well, this team's interested in Blake Snell. No, because they're all waiting.
I mean,
Yeah.
our top 40 big board, free agent big board, right? I think there's 4 signings of the 40.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 in the top 10. So no, take it back. Is it 2 in the top 10? 4 overall. That's dumb.
Well,
It's already it's the last day of the winter meetings, and that's where we're at.
Aaron Nola and who's the other one?
Sonny Gray.
Oh yeah. Okay, so 1 in the top 10 that switched teams.
Yes.
Man, that is pretty bleak.
Yeah, and I understand that is frustrating. I think that the industry is sort of plugged up waiting for Ohtani to decide. That I have less of a problem with from like a 30,000 foot stance because he can pick. Maybe he hasn't gotten an offer he likes yet. That's fine.
Sure.
But this idea that he is afforded, like the idea that teams just acknowledging basic facts that they want to acquire the best player who's come around in however many years, and that's treated as an egregious violation of privacy. I'm sorry, like to quote John Draper, that's what the money's for. You get paid the money so that people talk about you. They're not, speculating on your, the private life. They're not speculating on what you do away from the field. It's just these teams want to sign you and to present that as, well, if you discuss that, like, that's really unfair to him. No, it's not. Shut up. Grow up. He's going to get paid so much money because he's awesome and because he's in an industry that rewards people for their awesomeness. And part of that is all of this. It's all connected. It's an entertainment business.
I will paraphrase Don Draper too. He doesn't think about you at all. He just wants to do his own thing. Like
I'm talking more about I was, and again, like reading the comments is a mistake. I was taken aback by how readers were objecting to reporters, columnists saying, "Hey, this should be more exciting." Like, "Hey, we want to entertain you. Hey, we want you guys to have information." And readers saying, "Screw you. We don't want that."
I kind of liked Ken's idea where it's you have a hard deadline for multi-year contract. You can still stretch out. Like I kind of like that idea, and it's something that could be given by the Players Association at the next CBA negotiations. Never. You don't think so?
Never. They will never do that.
Never.
No, because look. They will never, I say never. Based on their current stance, they will not allow anything that they view as a check on the market.
That's right.
And I think that is a hard-earned stance as a union that they have come to through being colluded against
Fair enough.
for decades by the monopoly who controls them. And so while I do think in a vacuum, right, like a deadline, yeah, of course it makes sense. It makes it more entertaining. It creates excitement. It makes it so that you can, which day of the calendar it's going to be. It all gears up to it. It makes it easier on us. It makes it easier on the executives that there's a break. They're not doing it. However, the fact that the owners for decades colluded to keep salaries down and did not permit the players to earn wages that were commensurate with what they were producing for the owners, the union has basically reached the stance that we're not going to let you do that. We're not going to let you put in a cap. We're not going to let you put in deadlines. They're going to fight that tooth and nail, and that is their right. And hey, we are the only pro-labor podcast.
The only pro-labor podcast. I will say that you are so much better at podcasting when you're not screaming profanities and crying. Like you're lucid and helpful. Like really
it's
good.
also helpful that his cat's not trying to scratch his eyes out in the middle of this. That's kind of nice too. Shout out to Harry.
It's pretty rough that the only things that happened at this winter meetings are a reporter fell asleep. Marco Gonzalez got traded twice, and I ate hot chicken.
This is Alex Verdugo erasure. This is Victor Caratini.
That was that's an interesting trade.
It's a weird trade.
It's kind of,
especially if the Yankees are going to get one.
It sounds like they're going to get. I mean, it sounds like they're going to get Soto. So is Verdugo's expendable? Does he become?
Is he a part of that trade?
It could be. I mean, so the thing about that is like, there's been some. I had heard some stuff last night about how the Padres might have interest in him or might have expressed it before, but the Padres, they express interest in a lot of players over the years, right? Like AJ Preller's an active guy. So like anyone who gets traded, there's a decent chance that the Padres have at some point, contacted one of the teams about them. So I don't know.
Well, here's the thing about the Padres, not to interrupt you there, but like,
it's okay.
It's okay.
Wow.
There it is. Thank you. Boy, they got a lot of needs. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
If they're going to pull this off and it's like, you see what comes back and you line up what they've got, they got to replace 500 innings.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. They got holes all over. It's bad. And you wonder, how could this be a net positive or even to break even and like hope that maybe the luck turns for them or whatever? I'm not sure what the path forward is for them to like actually win ball games next year.
Well, they need arms. They need
absolutely need arms,
a flotilla of arms.
And that's why the Yankees line up
Yankees
and make sense,
so much
right?
sense, right? Because they got Michael King, they got Clark Schmidt, they got a lot of guys.
Oh, by the way, my favorite winter, like this is a classic winter meetings thing. Oh, Michael King, that might hold up the deal. Stop it.
Well, so here's what I'll say about that, which I thought was funny because on the one hand, right, the package that was kind of floated like a week ago or so, I think it was a friend of the show, Andy Martino, had it, where it was like Michael King and like 5 or 6 other guys, prospect types plus money for Soto and Grisham. And there was sort of a sense of like, well, this might not happen. This is too much. And on the one hand, like looking at that package, you're kind of like, yeah, that for 1 year, so like that is a lot. And on the other hand, no offense to Michael King, but the idea that the trade for Juan Soto would not happen because of Michael King, who's just became a starter a couple weeks ago, is like sort of makes your brain explode, right? It's like multiple things can be true,
right? Right. No, and that's a classic ploy too. I mean, it's starter later, like it's a very small sample size, and this is like it's a sell high situation, obviously. So anyway,
I wrote an article back in 2012 about Miguel Cabrera, and I did a lot of research on like the rumors of the time when they're talking about the Miguel Cabrera trade when the Marlins are trading him. So the Roland deal may hinge on Miguel Cabrera being traded first. The Cards poked their head in, but wouldn't part with Colby Rasmus. You know what I mean? It's like you go through and it's, the Yankees, they want Miguel Cabrera, but they're really reluctant to trade Joba Chamberlain, Phil Hughes, or Ian Kennedy.
Yeah.
That's how these things look in the future. But there is one, like at the very end, where it's like the Dodgers aren't going to give up Matt Kemp and Clayton Kershaw.
Well, that's Eric Bedard.
Yeah. So it's like, so if that trade happens, you'd be what, like an elementary school teacher? What's your alternate profession?
My biography about Dayton Moore would be out on May 7th.
Love that.
Also called The Last of His Kind, and also available at pre-order from Hachette Books.
A full chapter on the evils.
Let it go. Keep moving.
I said my book would still be in the folder in my desktop, untouched. Hey, how many words is this story? What do we got here?
1,
no,
2, 3.
Man,
no, this was when I had to crank.
Oh my God, look at that!
This is when
that's 1,000 words. That's pretty good,
dude. This is like story 1 of maybe 7 I wrote that day. Like they put me through the grind back then. So,
Mark, what if you put in a rule that for every 500 words Grant writes, he has to conduct 1 interview?
Oh baby, I would be creepy like Mike Wallace at that point, right?
No, he would just never write again.
Bettina Bungie.
But, you know,
I
She was
emailed
lovely,
the German
she said.
Tennis Federation first, so that gets an email and a call.
Ooh,
That is
that's
2013.
hashtag
For?
reported.
An article about Mike Krukow and Tony
Oh,
Kuiper.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Read our site, buddy.
Haha. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is look. We got the Rule 5 this afternoon. Everyone's getting out of Dodge. It's not been an eventful week, and sometimes that happens. I was sort of under the impression that it made sense on the surface for Ohtani to get it done this week. It's not gonna. I mean, unless I don't know. The state of the Boris is in about 35 minutes, and so it would be amusing if the Ohtani thing breaks at 11:15 is
that'd be a good little poke in the eye.
Scott's playing the hits. So that is one thing to keep in mind. But
I remember being sitting on my bed the morning my flight left in the afternoon and just sweating because I had to rank all the deals at the winter meetings. Like I was like doing a 1 through 29, like the biggest impact, and I was like just pounding it out, and and I used a lot of words to get there. Every team deserves a little something, and that is just not what this winter meetings is.
Where would Andy acquiring and then flipping these moon pies rank on the deals for this week?
No, I'm just curious, Grant. When did your mom let you move your bed into the basement?
Wow,
come on, that's such a tired stereotype, sir.
Tired,
sir.
Okay, she has an attic.
Yeah.
There's no basements in California.
Right. That's a good
point.
Come on,
man.
man.
Moron.
But yeah, no, Juan. So you want to hear? I'm going to go on roster resource, very valuable resource, and tell you the projected starting rotation as of now for the Padres.
Yeah, boy, oh boy.
Joe Musgrove, opening day starter,
Pretty
unless
good.
it's you, Darvish. Okay,
Pretty good.
Matt Waldron.
Uh-oh.
Thoughts on Matt Waldron?
It dropped off.
Pedro Avila. Thoughts on Pedro Avila?
That's a tough one.
Jay Groom.
Former Red Sox first round pick is on that team.
Oh, okay, Groomer. Yeah. No, I don't know much about these guys. So yeah, they're trading Soto to get starters, and I'm re-signing Blake Snell. Like, does that move the needle for you?
Well, that's just given their payroll situation, that's not happening. I mean, they're trading Juan Soto to pay less money. They're not gonna.
But I think in service of getting starting pitching, right?
No, I mean, there's multiple things. Like there's a belief that they want to shed salary, and then also they're using that to fill the pitching void without spending. Because otherwise, you're not really shedding salary.
Like this is what their situation. Like last week, Dennis Lynn, our Padres writer, does a great job. Decides he's going to do a detailed walkthrough about how screwed the Padres are. And at one point in there, he's listing the needs, and he puts how much money they have to spend on it. And I thought to myself, they'd have a hard time doing that in 1992.
Oh,
okay.
Got it.
It was just like, pitcher, catch, like someone to help with the catcher, and it was like $11 million.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, right.
Impossible. Right. It's like you're traveling like forward in time and then looking at the prices and then looking at your wallet and this is not going to add up. That's where the Padres are right now.
Yeah. Okay. So you're talking like when it's Michael King, the great Michael King, that it would be immediately in the rotation, and that's how they're going to bridge this.
Yeah. That's the
only
idea.
Shot.
Because if you look at their roster, right, they still have a lot of good baseball players. Sure. Manny Machado. They still have Darvish, they still have Fernando Tatis, still have Ha-Seong Kim, all that sort of stuff. But the margins are pretty bleak right now, and it's a good time to be the Dodgers, I guess, as always.
I'm tired of them. Tired act.
For you. Yeah.
Do you guys know who Cameron Crowe is?
Yeah.
I guess Miami's considering taking him in the Rule 5 draft.
I like how he said, "Do you guys know who Cameron Crowe is?" If he was talking about an obscure sort of like Polish director.
Teen Wonder. He was like the Chris Cotillo of movies.
What?
That's accurate. Yeah. You ever seen the film Almost Famous, Mark?
No.
Okay. Well, it's made by Cameron Crowe.
About his
sort of it's like what is it called? Bilga Strungman.
Bettina Bungie.
No, but it's like
lovely interview.
It's a story about a kid who becomes like a reporter for Rolling Stone when he's like 16 years old and goes out on tour with like a version. Who is Stillwater supposed to be? Like kind of like the Eagles?
I always thought Allman Brothers. but-
Allman, yes.
Okay.
Producer Brian's nodding. Allman Brothers.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
makes sense. Anyway, Mark's already like moved on.
Yeah, he's
No.
he's texting David from at the Atlantic. Just power texting. he's A-lister now, baby.
Yeah.
He's
I hate this shit.
all right, we are going.
Barry Weiss can write columns. for
What
us.
did we-
We are going to be right back. We have a special guest. I shouldn't say special guest because that'll hype it up too
He's
much.
just a guest.
We got Stephen Nesbitt, a writer at The Athletic, who published a really great day in the life of the winter meetings today. So we're talking about him. It's not navel gazing, I think. It's like important to know how absurd it all is.
I think it is important that people know. It's such a. I don't think people come here looking forward to being at the Gaylord Opryland, but you find yourself here, and I decided to just roam the halls for as long as I possibly could, and rack up steps and write what I see. And the strange thing is, you realize by the mid-afternoon, like you've already seen everything.
Okay.
That's kind of the point. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing new, and you're just waiting for news. And so you're like texting Ken, please do something for my day.
Yeah.
Help my story, but.
No, not so much.
Yeah.
I gave you a little help in your story, and it got pulled out.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that Dan Barbarisi squashed it, but I never even put it in the story. Please tell you walked up. Here, I'll do it for you. 3:25 p.m. I'm in the media workroom. Grant Brisbee rushes up and says, "Take off your headphones. Listen, I got something for you."
Yeah, well, okay. So I met Jeff Sullivan, formerly of Fangraphs, now of the Rays, for coffee, and we sat down and we shared a bench in front of a waterfall, and it was kind of like all this foliage, and it was beautiful, and the waterfall was rushing down, and that's as close as I've ever come to being unfaithful to my wife. Like that moment right there is that it was magical. So yeah, this place, it's got a magic in it.
That's good color right there.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
That's the type of stuff I needed in my story.
Yeah. That feels like a first-person piece you could write.
It was.
You know?
He's a tall drink of water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a handsome fellow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that Jeff Sullivan.
All
That's
right,
the magic of the winter meetings, though.
so what
Magic
else?
of this place.
What else did you find?
My favorite thing was, there's little old ladies walked in, and you kind of get like the sense like maybe they're not here for baseball. It's like Christmas sweaters, like taking photos of literally every decoration around this 4.6 million square foot place, and I was like, I gotta talk to someone. So 3 of them were standing on the boardwalk, and I come up like, "Hey, are you guys here for the baseball?" And they're like, "No, we're up from Louisville, like a senior citizens group," and so I explained, that's why you're seeing so many 20 and 30-year-old white dudes. And they're like, well, they're gonna see a lot of 70, 80-year-old white women.
And that is the Gaylord Opryland
That's the experience.
Hotel and Convention Center.
Yeah, it's a great place for me because I have 2 kinks, right? Well, the first is almost being run over by someone who looks like Cousin Greg staring at their cell phone, dodging Cousin Greg's on their cell phone.
That's a good take.
That's one of them. And then my other one is I just love when someone looks at me for a split second to see if I'm important and then immediately breaks eye contact because I'm not.
Yeah.
That is moi. That's what the winter meetings are all about.
The winter meetings are the Olympics of seeing someone and being like, is that guy's name Dave? Never mind. I just won't make eye contact.
There's also the moments when they think they're being subtle. You can see their eyes going down to your credential.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Do I know? No.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
part of the winter
Not who I
meetings
thought it
dance,
was.
right?
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Evan Drellick, the other day, like this is a classic winter meetings thing. Like sees somebody and he's convinced it's someone he knows. He's calling out his name, Eric. Dude turns around and goes, I'm Zach. Right? And this is so like I think. Sorry to like veer on this, but like okay, you guys know Brent one. You guys would know this, right? I think on a sliding scale of 1 to 10. There's like an aggressiveness scale on reporters and like how quickly you get a phone number. How did you?
Yeah.
So it turns out the dude was like someone in baseball that was worth kind of like getting to know. And I watched Evan, like, so I was probably about a 6. Like I was right in the middle on that scale,
Yeah.
not like overly aggressive, but not like, scared to ask stuff. Evan's about a 13. Anyway.
I have your guys' number. Steven, what's your number?
Speaking of drills, he was walking by in the big atrium yesterday with Feinsand, and he pulls me aside. Hey, you getting these little old ladies yet? Yeah,
That's just that's a
man.
good reporting here. Good reporters help each other out, you know?
Yeah, it's a good team here. It's a good team.
Yeah.
Management's a little, whatever. But
One of
A little
the
whatever.
writers.
One of the big moments of the day was I mentioned there being a riverboat, and Barbarisi, my new dad, said, you got to ride it, right?
Yeah.
And so I go on and it's just me and like 8 tourists. They were all like 70, 80
Yeah.
men and women, though. Like, it's a good mix. And the whole time I'm just looking up at the bridges, being like, I don't want anyone I know to see me. I'm gonna have to text them and explain things. And everyone else on the boat is like, why is this guy giggling the whole time?
Yeah.
I feel like if you drank that water, you wouldn't trip balls. You know what I mean? Like, I think it would be like maybe refreshing here.
I will say that the atmosphere around the fountains and the rivers is excessively chlorinated. It feels like a YMCA pool situation. Like, it's humid, fetid.
So
Is an adjective that comes to mind, which adds further to the incredible biodome that we're in which you're surrounded by Christmas trees, cousin Greg's, and then walking by someone and being like, is that the farm? No, that's just a guy. Okay.
Yeah. No, I feel like I could walk through the fountains barefoot without getting athlete's foot. You know what I mean? That's kind of the vibe I get from it. I was enjoying the fountains, actually. I was because I love hydrodynamics. It's wacky stuff, and so watching everything collide in the fountains here, they get an A+ from me.
How quickly would you cut the word hydrodynamics from a Grant post?
Well, I mean, it would be like shedding one word out of 5,000. So I mean, yeah, pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's been a slow week.
Slow.
There's nothing to be done about it.
Craig Kimbrell, though. We got something happen on the O's front.
All right, let's talk Craig Kimbrell.
Yeah.
I aesthetically, relievers like Kimbrell and to a lesser extent Roldis Chapman, or to a greater extent, I don't like watching them. Like, and I can't imagine being a fan of one of those teams and like, okay, here you go, 9th inning or a high leverage situation. Like, it just seems like it would constipate you for weeks.
I would say, having watched Kimbrell play for really good teams the last couple of years, after kind of being in the wilderness for a little while. And this is not to slight Craig Kimbrell.
Mm-hmm.
He's like as close to a Hall of Fame reliever as we've had.
Good pitcher.
Of the Jansen, Chapman, Kimbrell trio, who sort of set the standard. He might have been the best. But Nick Picoro from the Arizona Republic and I have talked about this. It's like watching him get a strike looks so hard.
Yeah.
He has to work so hard. It seems like there's never an at bat that's just easy. It's just tidy, and it's he gets results. He's still got great stuff, composure, all that. But you just watch and you're like, oof, this is just, he is laboring. And there's an element too with when you watch Chapman where like every at bat is like in the postseason, it seemed like every at bat he's like 3-0. And then he makes the 3 greatest pitches you have ever, like 101.
101 on the black.
On the black, up and away. And you're just like, what? And then the next at bat starts and it's like ball 2.
Yep.
And there he is, and you just see, sweating, and then it's just. So, Kimbrell can't really do that anymore. His stuff is taking a step back. And so I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's an interesting play by the Orioles, who it seemed like their MO with relievers was similar to what the Astros MO had been with relievers and what some other teams have done, which is just like, hey, let's find guys with big stuff.
Yeah.
And let's see if they can throw it in the zone for a year, right?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can fiddle the knobs. The Rays were on this several years ago, but it's just the idea of like, let's get guys with big stuff and just, hey, see if you can throw a strike. Whereas Kimbrell feels almost more of like a, the stuff is still kind of there, but it's not what it was, and it's not like you're betting on upside almost. So it's an interesting sort of play as they try and rebuild that bullpen.
Yeah, get guys with big stuff and fiddle the knobs. That's what Andy McCullough. That's your philosophy.
No, I'm telling you, that's what the
I know.
Orioles do.
That just sounded like it's a good turn of phrase. Get guys with big stuff and fiddle the knobs.
I
like that.
I'm here trying to help get us through this while Mark just like does other work on the pod.
There's some situations developing that I have to oversee.
Okay, like what?
Is podcast getting in the way?
Yeah.
A little bit.
You
Yeah.
need to step away.
No, I mean, I'm good for now, but like there's stuff that needs to be coordinated. Okay.
Is it? It's probably Ken beefing with someone else again, right?
No.
He's constantly just throwing
Another Ken beef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one of the Ken and Jason are always, Jason Stark. They just mean people, both of them, very mean.
Speaking of Jason, you know what's unfair?
That's not true, by the way.
Every time Jason comes into a scrum, the GM or manager will look at him and just brighten up. It's so unfair.
Well,
I'm in a Ben Charrington scrum yesterday, and we're having a good conversation with everybody. Jason walks in, asks about Yamamoto, and Charrington, who has no chance to sign this guy, no interest in signing this guy because, money being what it is, he just, hey, Jason, and he'll entertain any question. It's not fair how these Hall of Famers get this kind of treatment.
Well, he's just one of those guys that like absolutely no one dislikes.
Yeah,
and like one of those like I'm trying to think of, like Anthony Bourdain or something. He's just a guy that everyone can agree on.
Yeah.
Great.
It's like the Beatles.
Well, there are some like Zoomers who are.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you. You're like, well, actually, it was the Zombies.
No,
who
my
were
favorite.
ahead of
Well, I would take Odyssey and Oracle over almost any album in existence.
Okay, I mean, I like that record. It's good.
Perfect record.
So the Zombies were a band.
No,
not
I got
just
the context. I
not
figured
just
it out.
the villains on, Shaun of the Dead.
Okay.
Nez, what's your favorite move of the meetings? Like, what's your whistle here?
What's my whistle?
Yeah, I like that term.
What's filling your tank
Maybe
this week?
Bucko content. Marco
Filling your
Gonzalez
tank,
getting
that's
hopped
good.
twice.
Yeah.
To Atlanta, and they said we really have no interest in keeping this arm around.
Yeah.
Poor Marco.
Send him to the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean the Pirates need innings. It's where they are. They have not a whole lot happening in the rotation beyond Mitch Keller, who almost got to 200 innings. So, I mean, good move for them. They paid a guy to come pitch.
Kinda. They got some.
Did they
money
take
back.
how much of the money did they take?
I don't think it's been reported.
Okay,
It's a
I was
secret.
just curious if
No, I don't know how much of the money actually. He's also got an option with no buyout for the 25 years. So
team player.
Club option, no buyout.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
he'll
so
get-
That's fine.
it's a 1-year deal for them. They can flip him.
Yeah,
If he
okay.
does well, they can decide if they want to pay $15 million. I think it is.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Pirates winner of the
so it works.
winter
I just have a
meetings,
soft spot for guys who get traded twice. Like imagine the family dynamic. You go out and get a New Jersey. It's like Amazon Prime it. I'm going to cancel that.
I
The
think
Pirates-
that
never mind. We're going to get flipped to the deadline.
I think the Braves were kind enough to inform Gonzalez's representatives that he was not going to be a Brave. That they did not intend to keep him as a Brave.
Yeah, I
Remember
remember.
World Series that he get a ring next year.
No, he doesn't.
But
Maybe, hopefully, he gets a playoff share though. That's nice.
I remember the Giants did this with Desi Relaford. They got Desi Relaford in the offseason, then traded him. But I don't think that was necessarily like hey, we're just getting you to trade. I think that was like a true, like, hey, welcome to the squad, Desi. Wait, something else caught our eye.
Yeah,
See
I
ya.
mean, it was a more fun game back then.
It was.
I brought up a visceral reaction from producer
I
Brian.
know producer Brian's like shaking
Desi
his
Relaford,
head.
he goes,
Yeah.
Why are you so upset about Desi Relaford? All right, he doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Just remembering some dudes. Brings up
Uh,
emotions.
I'm trying to I've got Twitter up because I think the Ford C Frick is going to be announced.
What did you call
soon.
me?
The Ford C, the award, the Hall of Fame stuff for broadcasters, and then there's the other one for writers. I don't even know if I'm nominated. It'd be like a nice surprise if it just came up on my Twitter feed.
Yeah.
Someone else can take the reins at any time.
I
Choose a
carried it. I
topic.
mean, Mark's working,
I know.
Maybe it's our guest's fault.
I want people to watch this on YouTube and just be like Mark's eyes just
I
under
know.
the table the
I
whole
know.
time.
Yeah.
I know. Sorry, there's like winter meetings, rumblings going on.
Oh,
So,
wow.
The
Yeah.
rumblings,
rumblings.
really?
Yes.
The good rumblings.
The winter meetings of discontent here.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
The tiredest winter meetings of all time.
But literally tired.
I mean, I guess if they're gonna have this event, right? I do think as a sport they should incentivize teams to act.
How?
That's the problem.
Moon
Right.
pies.
Well, the problem is again, like the owners have not, and maybe probably never will be able to do enough to win back the ability to manipulate them or what, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this is, you reap what you sow, and this is so downstream from stuff that was going on in the 70s and 80s, but like you can't manipulate the market to generate interest because the union will always oppose it, as they probably should based on what the history is. And so
Yes, sir.
so it's like a non-starter
Yeah.
almost, and so we just kind of have to, grit our teeth and hope that, it's a year that stuff happens.
Mhm.
Or, it'll be a year like this where we all got to work next week too.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, no.
It's like I get it. Like I get why everyone's like, oh, we got to spice up the winter meetings. You can't have a winter meetings where nothing happens. It's like, well, look, it's the owners, man. Like they built this. They have a monopoly. They exploited the labor in the monopoly for so long. You guys are all just looking at your phones.
Well,
I thought
we got a Ken bomb.
I thought it
What
was
do
a
we
Ken
got?
bomb, and then it said Luke had an incident, bit by friend, and bit back.
Oh,
So that's
wow.
daycare.
Royals,
So that's 3-year-old stuff. Thanks, Ken.
Royals and
Ken
Dan
Brocaddy actually tweeted
Altavilla agreed to a minor league deal. That's breaking from producer Brian. But also we've got Ken retweeting Brendan, our Yankees writer. As Joel Sherman reported, Yankees have been softening on the idea of surrendering Michael King. They're more willing to include Drew Thorpe, I'm told.
Oh,
It's unclear if they do both at the same time. So if you're looking for like a King Thorpe combo for Juan Soto, prepare to be disappointed. All you Thorpe heads in San
Diego. I can't believe he bit back. Like he's gotten bit at school so many times, and he's never bit back. Wow. But dad leaves for one.
I know.
But yeah, Thorpe. I mean,
yeah, Otis Thorpe, good basketball player.
What's your favorite Thorpe?
Gino Thorpe, former Penn State hoops.
Okay.
A man from PA. I'm a soft spot for PA.
Okay, yeah. Fair enough.
How about you?
You're a Yinzer.
I'm not a Yinzer. I just lived there.
What is in that Aquafina bottle? What is in that?
Water?
No, it's
Water?
Yeah.
Water ice?
Wooter. Anyways, no.
I'm from Michigan. I'm just talking like this.
Jim Thorpe. I think I did. That's an easy one. That's like our
Never heard of him.
TSNLE of picking a Thorpe. Anyways, I guess we can wrap this up because we got half of the panel
Mark,
on their
do you have
phones.
anything you want to add?
Mark's talking to
Anything you want to bring up?
No, nothing. Why?
I don't know. I was going to tee you up for just George King stories. That's all I heard. we were all out late last night, and it was just one George King story after another. I was enjoying it.
Yeah,
I missed that era.
No, what an era!
Yeah.
What an era!
I missed that era.
Yes, you have to go to the press box to see that era.
Yeah.
Everyone talking about the halcyon days of like the early 2010s Yankees beat. I'm like, yeah, but listen, 2016 Bucko beat.
Boy,
we have some stories.
Adam Berry.
I do think the reader, the viewers, the listeners, they did get a good understanding for how much we respect Ken Rosenthal. That if your phone buzzes with a text from him, your brain just immediately shuts out whatever you're doing.
Yes, sir.
So like I'm at dinner with my wife and my phone buzzes and it's Ken and she's just telling a story and I am in a completely other world, like different world. Like I just have no concept of anything besides I need to respond to Ken.
Yeah.
Right now.
That's the magic.
And I need to get like he is the most powerful man in the world. Yes. Like he is Oz, except for if Oz was actually the great and terrible.
Yeah. It's the second most powerful man in the world after Marc Carig.
No, I'm his editor right now, and when he texts, like
I get an imbalance.
I get so scared.
Yeah,
I get so scared. Like, oh, what happened?
Yeah,
what happened?
Did you hear the story about how Mark a couple years ago when Ken was working on a story, Mark sent him a story that he himself had written to teach Ken how to write.
God, oh God!
He said, "Hey Ken, maybe you can do this like I did it."
God,
do the voice.
Hey, Ken, if you're looking for a way to get better as a writer, you could maybe follow someone like me. And Ken goes to me, he goes, hey, listen to what Carig just did to me. He sent me one of his stories.
You're cleaning it up, but yeah.
990 words.
And said, hey, if you need any help, just write like this.
Yeah. Now that is...
No, he just did that to all of us. Carig just sends... I wrote something about that 10 years ago. Might want to follow suit. Now that I'm everyone's boss.
We're sorry to the listeners and the viewers.
This
is hard. Look, we're getting pulled in different directions and stuff is cooking. I mean, I wish this was Sunday.
Dan Altavilla to the Royals on a minor league deal. I mean, come on. Hot stove, baby. Let's get... No, I think like I always say, once you get to minute 42 of the roundtable, if you're still in,
right,
this is the heroin at the end of the cigarette. This is the this is the good stuff.
Okay,
this is the black tar.
Yeah. What a time.
What a time. All right, this has been episode number 77 of the roundtable. We got nothing. That should be our new motto. The roundtable.
It certainly is this week.
We got nothing. But thanks for listening or watching. We will see you, Brian, soon. Thanks for listening.